Okay, welcome back. This is going to be the second video. In this video, we are going to create an exercise database and then connect those exercises into our dashboard on this current page right here, to where these will be a drop down so you can pick your exercise. So we're going to click on this plus button and we're going to open up a whole new sheet, and we're going to rename the sheet exercises. Okay. First thing we're going to do is we're going to be in column A, row 1. All right, so that's where the green should be. We're going to go insert, and we're going to click on table. This will pop up, and now we do not want this checked off. All right, so leave that open. All right, so don't have that checked off, because if we check that off, then when we do a name, it will have the header within the name, and we don't want that. So we're going to click OK. This will pop in, and we're going to rename this. All right, so we're going to go Olympic. Now the next thing you want to do is click on the Olympic and pull down so that row 1 and 2 have that green line in it. All right, and for column A. All right, and we're going to go to table name. In table name, we're going to put exactly what we put. All right, Olympic. And we're going to hit enter. Click out of it, and now right above that you have this box area. If you click in it, it will say Olympic. By clicking Olympic, it will have that bottom part in. If we had that box checked off when we hit inserted a table, it would actually be both of them that would be highlighted. We just want the exercises highlighted, so we're gonna do it that way. All right, and now we're gonna put in some exercises. All right, so we're gonna go, let's go power clean, put in jerk, snatch. All right, and then if I go back in and click on Olympic, it will have all 3 of them, all right, listed here. Down the road, if you want to add more and more exercises into this category, you can always do that. So if I just want to put in, let's say, another exercise, so let's just put in full clean, hit enter, I go back in, click Olympic, all of them are highlighted, so you can always put more and more exercises into this. Let's add in a couple more categories, so keep doing this. So insert, it's the same exact way to do it every time. Table, make sure that's not checked, click OK, and we're going to rename this. So we're going to put in squat. Okay, highlight that first one with the header and go down to that second row, so make sure that's highlighted. Go into the table name, and we're going to name this squat. All right, let's put in a couple exercises. Back squat, front squat, split squat. If I go in, click on squat, you have those exercises, and you can add in more. We'll do a couple more. So table. And again, don't have that checked. Now this one we're going to have, it's going to be like a 2-word name for our header. And what we want for that is we're going to put in, let's say, upper push. All right. But since that's 2 words, what we're going to have to do is go underscore push. And yes, you do need the underscore. You cannot have it 2 separate words. You want to have it all one with no spaces in it. So we're going to put in an underscore. Click enter. All right, and do the same thing, highlight that with the header and go down to that second one, go into the table name, and the exact same thing. Upper underscore, don't forget that underscore, push. All right, so if it's a 2-name thing, you need that underscore. Go in, all right, and we're gonna go bench, press, let's go dumbbell, bench, press. Okay, and you could always add in more exercises, but if I go in and it's upper underscore push, you have those 2 exercises. Do another one, table, make sure that's not checked, click OK, and let's type in upper underscore, and we're going to do pull. Okay, hit enter, highlight, down, so those first two, that table name, and we're going to type in the same thing. Upper underscore poll, click enter, good. And you could type in a few exercises, go pull-ups. Let's go dumbbell row, and let's say Penley row, okay? If I go in, got row, boom, all right? And this is what you do, the same exact thing for every single category you want to make. Now, we're going to go into this, the very next one over, we're going to add in another table. Same thing, make sure it's unchecked, click OK. For the header though, we're going to put in blank, click enter, and the same thing, highlight that top one, scroll down, go to that table name, and we're going to type in blank, okay? And I'll explain this in a minute, but there should be another blank. It should have that one. I'm not going to put any exercises because I actually do want to have it just completely blank. Now, the next thing we want to do, okay, so click out of it, make sure it's clicked out of the tables. We're going to highlight just the headers, okay? So you see how just that top row where the headers are highlighted. I'm going to go into that box right here, and I'm going to type in categories. Okay, click enter. All right. Now, if I type in, if I click on this, there's a whole nother one that says categories that comes up, and it goes over, and it's the highlighted part that we wanted. All right. So let's see if this worked. All right. Just to make sure this worked, and we'll do this on the other page also, I'm going to go into just one over on the side, and we're going to go data validation. All right. Now mine says data validation. Yours might just have a small box with this like little green check with a little circle in red. All right. Might have to look for it. So click on that. Data validation should pop up. Click on the arrow, and we're going to go list. Okay. So it says source. Now in this source, we're always going to start out with equals. Okay. You do need that equals. All right. And we're going to type in categories because that's what we named all of our categories, all right, when we highlighted straight across. We're going to click OK. And you see that there's a little drop-down arrow. Perfect. So I have all of my categories from Olympic squat, upper push, upper pull, and blank. All right. But now what if, let's say, down the road, I want to add in a whole nother category. All right. So what we're going to do is where it says blanked, all right, click on that top part. So make sure that whole column is highlighted just as you see here. We're going to right click and we're going to hit insert. All right. By default, that will shift over to the right. So you'll have to the left of blank a whole nother column. All right. And we're going to go back to insert, and we're going to do the exact same process as what we just did. We're going to go table, make sure that's not checked off, click OK. This pops up. We're going to name this right here. So let's name this plyometrics. Click enter, and again, highlight those two, table name, and we're going to type in plyometrics. Okay. We're going to go back in, and as you can see, we have more categories right there. And if I go back into where this was, actually, let's just put in another category or another exercise just in case, just to see it later on. But let's go plyo jumps. Okay, so if I go click in here, and the order of this does not matter. So if I click plyometrics, it goes plyometrics. Back to that area where we entered in to see our categories, you go here, click in it. Oops. Yeah, so it's right there, and you have plyometrics. Okay, yeah, it did shift. It shifted over. That's why it wasn't an H. So if I click the down, you have now your plyometrics because it's going to go in that same order right here. We're just adding in a whole nother column. All right. So boom, this is what we wanted right there, okay? For this, I'm gonna delete this column so we don't have that in there anymore. But now let's tie in our exercises into this sheet here, okay? So I'm gonna go to A column, and I'm going to right click, and I'm gonna hit insert. And remember what happens when we hit insert, it's going to default and do a whole nother column to the left. Okay, so we have that A. I want to do the same thing to the P and to the AE. So hit insert. So I have 3 of these, and now I'm going to make those a little wider. Okay. And don't worry about this. These actually will be eventually, they will go away, and I'll show you how to get them to go away. Right next to the boxes, all right, you have all these boxes, and you have now a column where you could have a row. And because I don't want to get too confused, I'm going to highlight every single one where an exercise will be pulled from on all 3 days. Okay, and to do this, oh, I don't want to do that one, but it's okay. You hold down your command on a Mac, again. I believe it's control on a PC. I don't want that one either, but we'll fix that in a second. Okay, and I have all of these highlighted. And now just so I know where they're at, because they're all white and I don't want to get them confused, I'm going to make them yellow. All right. But because I messed up on a couple of those, where is it at? This one, and I believe it was this one. I'm just going to highlight those both again, and I'm going to say no fill. All right. And those go away. Perfect. Now, next thing I want to do is I want to, again, highlight all of these at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to go click that, hold down. If you did not make the mistake on clicking, you could just kept all of them highlighted. But since I made the mistake and it bugs me a little bit, I had to unhighlight those other ones. So make sure all of these are highlighted at the exact same time. Okay, so all of them are highlighted. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go up to data. And we've already did this to check to see if it worked on the other page. We're going to go to our data validation again. All right, this is going to pop up. We're going to have our drop down. We're going to go list. We're going to go equals. All right, remember that equals. And we're going to type in categories. All right, make sure it's the exact same thing. I have this capitalized because I capitalized it. It needs to be the exact same thing as what you put it as. All right, so make sure you know that and click OK. All right, I didn't get any errors, which is good. It would have told me. And if I click on any one of these, it will have a drop down. All right, which is awesome. This is where you want to have it. Okay. Boom. Perfect. Now, we want to get the exercises into here. All right. So 2 things I'm going to show you. All right. So this one, I'm going to put in Olympic. All right. And I'm going to go click on data validation again. Click on that little drop down. Go to list again. Again, always start with your equals. Now for this one, we're going to go type in indirect parenthesis. All right. And what I like to do is I like to go in and copy this because you're going to have to do this for every single exercise. All right. And what I want to indirect, okay, I want to indirect A8. So if you put your cursor on there, it does have a little A8. So you go A column, 8th row. So we're going to go A8, close that parenthesis. All right. And hit OK. Another drop down arrow comes. If I click on that drop down arrow, there are your Olympic lifts. So if I switch this out and go squat, you have your squats. All right. Plyometrics should say plyo jumps because that's what we have. So that's what it's going to look like for every single one of these. You have to do this for each individual one. Now, just for reference, if let's say you're putting all of these in and this is just left blank, okay? Go to your data validation, go to your list, all right, and I'm gonna just paste it in because I copied it, but it's always gonna be the same thing. Now this is A14, so A14, and I'm gonna hit enter. There's gonna be an error that pops up, all right, an alert, all right. This is okay for this one because there is nothing currently in this. So I'm gonna hit yes. There's a drop down. Now the drop down is not gonna work because the system doesn't have anything in here. If I click on, let's say, squat, it has your squats. So my recommendation is just go through all of these and just put in some sort of category into all of these. That way you don't get your error, okay? And you're gonna do this step for every single one of these, all right? And I'm not gonna completely waste your time on that. It's gonna be the exact same step. So I'm gonna skip ahead. I'll do one more on this, so we have that one. I'll do one more for this, and then I'm gonna stop the video and do the next video, and all of these will be already done, and we'll just keep going into the next stuff. All right. So, but for one more example, here, data validation, go list. All right, paste it in, and this is going to be A20. Hit enter, and you have your exercises. All right, so this is the video number 2 on creating your exercise database and then linking it to your sheet. So if you click on that, you can put it in. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next video.